we didn't have great a lot. No one got more than 18. 18 was the number one. And to give everyone an explanation of what's going on, so we ran an Oscar poll with all our audience, and whoever won gets to pick our next movie. And the movie that person picked is Chicago. So Chicago is coming down the pipeline.
Nice. I was listening to No Country for Old Men, and you picked a hot dog without a bun. So no bun for hot dogs, like No Country for Old Men. Yeah. And then the other one was a taco dog, like a Tex-Mex kind of dog.
Yeah. We always try to do something related to the film, and when I do the research, I try to find like what is a food that's been in the background, or what is a food that's related to the story. So it might be like Amadeus. We did stuff with veal because it takes place in Vienna.
Hey, speaking of F. Murray Abraham,
is he from Vienna?
Oh no, he was in 13 Ghosts.
Oh my God, he was. Oh, he was in Amadeus.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get us our PG-13 rating here. So we're watching this movie, and I bring up Megan. She's on the pod occasionally. She looks at the screen and she goes, "Oh, that's that fuck from Homeland." Because he's the bad guy in it, Darn Adal. And I just started laughing that she said that. I always go to Amadeus, but I love that. I was just like, that's a dude from home. I love that line. But no,
so
go for it. Sorry.
I made my girlfriend watch this with me, and at the end of it, she goes, "This is a movie that has a lot of really great ideas, but needed some work." I was like,
that's really great.
Yeah, I was like, you're right. Like, there's a lot of fantastic things that are about this movie, and I generally like it. I know that we're like kind of making fun of it, but it's out of love. But it has some great concepts to it.
Oh no, I'm all over it. I just want to say to the listeners, you know that I love data collection. You know I love diving into movies. David does the same. He's a data junkie like I am. So if you want to learn a lot about these movies that have won Academy Awards, definitely check it out because you guys drop some knowledge.
Yeah, I like to go in and look at the IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes listings, and the piece that I have coming out, you actually saw and read.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on my blog. Is it talks about what the biggest discrepancy is between critics and audiences with Best Picture winners, and this is going to blow your mind. So here's a sneak peek. It's Rocky. Rocky has the most argument between critics and audiences.
Wow. And now Rocky's a 90% movie according to critics, correct?
Yeah, it's up there. I think it's actually higher than that. And the thing is that critics really like it, and audiences give it like a 70.
Wow. That's
it's opposite of what you.
Do you know what it is though? People don't realize that Rocky is Rocky. A lot of people think Rocky is Rocky 4, right?
Oh yeah.
So when you watch Rocky, you're like, this isn't Rocky 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Speaking of Rocky, you did math on how much of Rocky 4 is montage, right? I thought I had read an article about how much of Rocky 4 was montage, and it was like 70%. But now I don't know if I just made that up in my head.
I mean, that's an article that needs to be written, is where we're at. I think, for some reason, I feel like Carl Weathers' opening scene before he boxes is about 30 minutes long, because he's just dancing.
Yeah. But in Rocky 4, there's that scene where he's driving and thinking about the other movies, which is also a montage. And then he goes to Russia and has a montage, and then he fights. It's just like 3 montages in a row, and then a really awesome fight.
And then those fights are kind of montages because they go from round to round, right? Is that still a montage?
If you're like, instead of like a hard cut to the future, you're just like slowly like going through it. I guess so.
All right, I gotta look this up. I'll have it done before this is released, so no one can steal it from us.
Okay, I really want to know about this. Actually.
I'm gonna put that movie in and watch it. All right, so getting back to 13 Ghosts, is there anything else you kind of wanted to tackle in this movie? Is there anything else you were thinking about before we move on with our ghost list that we don't want to be stuck in a house with?
No, I think I covered everything. How about you?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I mean, I love we've already talked about the creature design all over the place. I just gotta say Matthew Lillard's awesome. I just gotta say that. Oh, wait. Can explosives blow people back to the 15th century?
Can they? Oh.
Remember that line?
Yeah.
And does she know how to work C4?
I don't know what she knows how to do. She can throw flares in slow motion.
Yeah, that was impressive flare throwing.
I guess that is something we should talk about. There is a lot of slow motion in this movie.
A lot of it.
It's unnecessary slow motion.
Is the fist fight between Tony Shalhoub and F. Murray Abraham slow-mo?
They probably sped that up to make it look faster, actually.
And you know what I didn't like, though, is that Embeth, she gets a lot weaker. So in the beginning, she's this badass saving people from ghosts, and then she becomes F. Murray's total lackey. I didn't like that flip from her.
That 180 was insane. Like, you don't really understand like how that happened. It's just like, all right, we need to get rid of this character, and okay, done.
They smushed her.
It's some bad CGI too.
Horrible CGI. Like, I think the guys. Oh wait, and that door that cuts the lawyer in half. How sharp is that?
Ugh, it has to be super sharp. But think of the force too, the pressure that has to do that.
It went through shoes.
Yeah,
and skull and spine, right? Well, maybe not spine, but it went through bone and clothes and shoe perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, so this reminds me of one thing we have not talked about that I really wanted to talk about, and I just like scrolled up the top of my notes. So when you die, do you think you automatically learn Latin?
You must, right?
You have to, because it's like whenever there's a ghost movie, they're like, this is Latin, it's going to summon the ghosts. But I don't know Latin. If I was a ghost, so you could be doing all the Latin you want. I have no idea what's happening.
Wow, that's a great question. I'm going to steal that bit now. I'm stealing that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to be killing it at parties, dude.
I mean, the follow-up is like, if I did die and became a ghost, what language would I want to learn so I could get summoned by that language?
That's a very good. My mind. I don't get my mind blown very often, but I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I actually didn't think about the language. Actually, like I just thought I should have a language decided. Like maybe the language that would summon me is I don't know, French, right? Like then I don't. But Latin, I don't want to do Latin. It's a dead language.
I want to be maybe Swedish.
That's a good one.
I just need to go back to my roots, and I want to be a part-time Viking sometime. So I think you kind of have to know Swedish.
What if it was sign language?
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd do that one.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty fun one.
I would love that.
So yeah, I thought about that a lot actually. Like watching, I was like, why do they all know Latin?
That's a good bit. When you get around 13th Ghost fans, you need to use this.
So there's two of us.
Yeah. Next time you talk to me, you need to say it again.
Okay.
No, actually, I've talked to people about 13 Ghosts, and hey, we're doing a podcast about 13 Ghosts. Everybody about our age hasn't seen it since 2001, but everyone's like, I love that movie.
Yeah. I mean, the question is like, did it hold up for you? Is it still awesome?
Okay, I like the creature designs. I like Matthew Lillard. I like Tony Shalhoub fist fighting. Yes. I'll say yes. Okay. More so than no because of the practical sets.
Yeah. So I think I agree with you. It's not what I remembered it, but I like it for other reasons. It's like I like how inventive it is. I like how everything looks weird. I like Matthew Lillard as much as I did when I first saw it first. So that's cool.
That turtleneck. And also it wasn't so we just did a pod about Idle Hands. And you watch it again, and there's just those early 2000s, late 90s lines that I don't really want to like say on the pod, but you're just like, oh, guys, like you know what I mean? Like that's so it doesn't age well, but this one doesn't really have a lot of that in it, so it doesn't stop it from. It ages more gracefully than I think a lot of other movies do. Yeah,
there was like one or two moments I cringed, like when Maggie made the noises and like it sounded like a record scratch.
Oh yeah. God.
I was like, ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, I was like, that hurts. And then she's like, I'm in a house of white people.
Oh yeah, crazy white people.
And you're like, what? Why are they crazy? They just came to this house, and you're running around with them, so you're just as crazy.
And why are you here? You're the babysitter.
Yeah. I think there's something going on between her and Shalhoub.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on there.
Oh, yeah. They just kind of hide it. And Shannon Elizabeth seems very naive and all about bathrooms. She doesn't notice it. And then the kid doesn't. The kid's too into his podcasting. All right. So we got 3 questions here that we'll get to, then we'll move on. So Buddy Deal asks, why just one pod for 13 Ghosts?
Instead of 13 pods?
Imagine if you and I did 13 pods about 13 Ghosts. That would get ugly.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you could talk for an hour about each of the ghosts?
Yes. But we would do a lot of side stories.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we'd have to read a little bit more. I don't know if I could do an hour podcast with each ghost, because only thing I know about it is like what I read and what I saw on the back or the backup content, and that's only like 12 minutes each. So there's only like an extra half hour of content.
We would have to do the 30 best scenes involving flares. So 30? Jurassic Park. And then like that's how we could do it, right? 20 best moments involving baseball bats. So
yes. Yeah.
And we could do one, best CGI things that aren't very good looking. So we'd have to do so many lists, like best tall guy who's violent, like Jaws from Bond movies. Like we would have to spin it, Which
Juggernaut's gonna win in a fight?
Yeah, we would just pick. Just talking about huge, like the Juggernaut from X-Men: The Last Stand, Juggernaut from Deadpool 2, the huge thing from 300, the Juggernaut here.
Yeah, who's gonna win? Can you kill a ghost? I don't.
Oh, that's another great question. I see. We could do it. I don't want to do it, but we could do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it would be a little bit like that podcast where the guys watch the same movie every week.
Oh yeah, Grown Ups. I think they did.
Yeah, Grown Ups 2. They didn't even watch. No, they did. It was a Grown Ups 2 or Sex and the City 2. It doesn't matter. But they watch the same movie every day or every week for a year.
Does it stay fresh?
They come up with insane theories because they slowly go crazy.
I need to do that because I'm already close to that. So imagine if I start doing it. All right. So the next question is by Max Cat, and she asks, "Will there be Scooby snacks?"
Oh my God! I'm so happy you brought this up. I ate some graham crackers while watching it. That's not a joke. So I hope so. I hope those count.
I had a graham cracker with peanut butter earlier, and it was delicious.
My girlfriend thinks I'm weird for doing that.
What? It's a sandwich.
She was like, "Why do you eat peanut butter on graham crackers?" And I was like, why don't you? This is the best thing ever.
I like that response. Why don't you?
But we did talk about Matthew Lillard as Scooby,
yep.
Right? Or Shaggy.
Yep.
He was born to play that role.
So good. Did you read? I don't know if you caught the article I wrote. I put up on Reddit, and it got tons of views. I figured out how many calories that Shaggy and Scooby ingested while eating the cotton candy monster.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite things of yours I've read.
Yeah, and they did like 20,000 each, I think.
Oh my God, it's terrifying. They ate a monster.
And they left its carcass just laying there probably, and then they had pieces of it on him, and the creature was terrified.
I went and saw that first movie when it came out in the theater. So I was like 20. I went to a theater by myself to go watch that because I loved Scooby-Doo so much, and I was the only one in the theater. It was like 11 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Wow. And then they ate the cotton. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in it, for people our age. And then also James Gunn wrote it, and he also wrote 2 lines for this movie. He wrote the petting zoo line in this movie. Did you know that?
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I had no idea.
On IMDb, it says co-written by James Gunn, and I found a tweet by him saying, "I just wrote 2 jokes, and one was the petting zoo joke." Well, I like Matthew Lillard said that. It's not a petting zoo down there. There's ghosts. And then the last question by Kieran Sweeney is, do the neighbors have a spare key? Were there neighbors?
There weren't. At the very beginning, the lawyer was like, hey, no one lives around here. That's how they got out of the neighbors stumbling into them.
And this was 2001, so none of them had cell phones.
Yeah, no one had cell phones, and then the power might actually be going in or out. That's a lie.
I mean, that thing could have sucked the power from a grid. I mean, that's a lot of power being used.
Yeah, it could have. How do you think
they're seeing that from space?
How do you think Rafkin knew to be there at that time?
Wow.
I think I have a theory.
Yeah, let's hear it.
That when he touched Cyrus at the beginning, he got an impression of what he was doing.
Oh, you're right. He touched his shoulder, and then F. Murray knew what was up.
Yeah, and he wanted to be there, I guess, to get money. They didn't really go they kind of implied that he was there to get the money, but
he was owed a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I love when he said it. He owes me a shitload of money.
I mean, he was the one who was giving it 100%. Everyone else was just phoning it in.
Oh my gosh. Everybody. F. Murray Abraham hated being there. Tony Shalhoub hated being there. Matthew Lillard was like, this is my chance to be a hero. And then he got destroyed in a great way.
I mean, we remember remembering it how many years later, so obviously it was good.
I remembered it in a different way.
We just remember he got killed.
Yeah, it's true. I was so bummed.
I was too. I mean, I think he's the main character of the film.
Yeah. He sacrifices himself. He has a reason to be there. He's trying to save the family.
Yep. He looks good doing it.
Yeah, that's right. He looks svelte. He needed that turtleneck more. All right.